Mr. Radu Burduja, you are executive director for Euro-Atlantic Institute for Building Resilience in Moldova. You have 27 years experience like military. You are expert in defense and security. We know Russia wants to keep political and geopolitical tools in the region of the Black Sea and in former Soviet area to keep the influence. Can Transnistria be a strong tool in the hands of Russia at this moment?
Well, thank you for the question. Great to be here. Yes, I think we will do a little bit more deep dive into the military structure because I believe this is very important. And maybe not so much about the Transnistrian so-called armed forces, but the underlying thing that supports them. And this, I think, it's very interesting to address. We all kind of agreed here that Transnistria is not the problem of the Republic of Moldova only, it's a wider problem. Black Sea region problem, but also European Union problem and so on, because Transnistria poses an existential threat to the Republic of Moldova. It prevents European Union from enlargement. It creates a challenge for the NATO eastern flank, and it creates a pressure point for Ukraine, as you rightly mentioned. What is the center of gravity of this pressure and the backbone of this is the Russian military presence in the Republic of Moldova, or in Transnistria, so to speak. Why? Because this small contingent, which is about 1,500 people, it basically allows Russian Federation to project power in the region. It has the, say it casus bellis, it has the all necessary motives to support and project power in the region, whether it is military or hybrid, represented by hybrid threats. That's why, in the nutshell, the problem in Transnistria is the military presence. Now, the military presence in Transnistria is composed of two elements. One is the operational group of Russian forces that remained after the 14th Army, and supposedly they remain to guard the Kobasna ammunition depots. And then the second element is the Russian peacekeeping force, which is part of the agreement established in 1992. The problem with this, they have very different entities. One has legal coverage, and the other one is illegally stationed on our territory. But the problem is that they rotate between themselves. So Russian peacekeeping force, in the absence of the possibility to rotate the peacekeeping contingents, they use operational group of Russian forces as a fourth generation instrument. In order to recruit people into this structure, they also use local population from Transnistria. And then you see the rotation of military personnel even through the so-called armed forces or military formations of the Transnistrian region. Now, this backbone, the Russian military presence in Transnistria, it basically constitutes the power behind the Transnistria regime. It is ideological, it is military, and it is something that Transnistria regimes perceives that look, Russian Federation is behind us. So that's why they have created throughout history this leverage. So the biggest problem, or if we narrow this problem in the nutshell, the removal of Russian military presence from Transnistria will resolve a bigger part of the Transnistrian problem that we have at hand right now. Now, this is easier said than done, but I think we in Moldova and the international community helped us develop some concrete steps into this direction. In order for a proper military component to function, it needs logistical support, it needs economic support, and so on. Now, the Transnistrian region being isolated from Ukraine, and also on the other side is the Republic of Moldova, the question is, how do they supply themselves? Where the supplies come from? How do we deal with the issue of separating those supply lines, those economic efforts to maintain the viability of these forces? And I believe this should be one of the main efforts of the international community and of the Republic of Moldova in order to deal with the Transnistrian Transnistrian solution of the Transnistrian conflict. I believe nobody, either in Moldova or, as you said, in Ukraine, would like to move into the kinetic resolution of the conflict. Even though Ukraine can do this, it will mean basically the enlargement of the existing conflict. But we for sure can take concrete steps in isolating military presence in Transnistria in order to make this position untenable for the Russian Federation. Thus, they don't have anymore the leverage that they have right now. And guess what? We supply those forces, or the forces in Transnistria are supplied by economic agents that can do business with the right bank, with European Union, with fuel supplies coming specifically, from the countries in the European Union. So these things needs to be restricted. I believe, and those economic agents, we know them, and the modus operandi is very simple. They supply within the greatest logistic supply or delivery of goods into the Transnistrian region. There is a small part for the military forces too. Now those things can be identified, and we should identify those things, because then the money goes through the offshore accounts into the accounts of those companies that help doing this, and to the leaders or the persons that help doing this. So I believe we can restrict those things. Another thing that I believe we did quite well in the recent right now was some of the restrictions imposed on the Transnistrian leadership. For example, I think it was a very good move of stripping of the Moldovan citizenship of some of the leadership of the Transnistrian region. And thus it sparked outrage in the region, and basically in Kremlin too. But guess what? They could not do anything about this because they don't have any more the leverage that they used to have. The other thing, restrictions or declaring undesirable persons on the territory of Moldova, the Russian military leadership of the Russian military component. This is the same prevent. So I think this kind of actions below the threshold of war, just like Russia practices it on us, I think we can move with those forward and be a bit more proactive. I don't want to say aggressive, but a bit more proactive, but because I think those are efficient. I will close by saying that in order to solve this conflict and to get to a successful resolution, we need two conditions. First, Ukraine must win the war. Whatever this means for Ukraine, Ukraine must win the war against Russia, because as far, if Russian Federation is farther from the Republic of Moldova, I think the closest is the resolution of the Transnistrian conflict for us. And of course, an integrated international cooperation in order to solve this issue. Romania is helping us a lot. Ukraine is helping us a lot. I do believe that European Union already is helping us a lot, and it will help in the future. And of course, I think United States of America should be a very important player at this table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burduja.